Currently sitting here on the goat steps into the house, and I'm just about to start my favourite chore of the day, which is sweeping up the old goat jelly beans. So while I'm here, I didn't think I'd do a jelly bean video for you. The boys are back. The boys are back in town. Well, the boys are back on Porpeang Farm in Thailand. We've got Leigh and Leigh back on site, and we've been waiting for months and months for these guys to come back, and we've got loads for them to do. We've been saving the jobs. So we thought we'd kick off with repairing and improving stuff that desperately needed doing for months and months, but we just don't trust anyone else to do it. So finally we got Leigh back, and he had a few other jobs to do elsewhere. He's in demand, the guy, and yeah, once he became available, then he got in touch with Leigh, and then they're back. So to kick things off, they raised the goat here onto Goat Island. It was just too heavy for me and Toon to reposition, because when Macro Man came back and built up the height of the island, of course the gates were too low. The hinges, they're just wire hinges, because there's no point in welding proper hinges back on, because the soil height's going to continually drop for, I don't know, a year or two, maybe continually, who knows. So that's done. So now Toon and I can kick the goats onto the island late afternoon, early evening, and we haven't got to police the entrance, make sure that Bullseye and co don't escape. After that, so that was just a few hours. After that, they replaced the main gate onto the outer road round the lake. It just took its toll of being battered by Bullseye and his harem, and you know, the constant battering of the weather out here, and they've made it a little bit higher as well, because some of them like to stand up, and that was one of the problems. Once they get a heavy goat standing on there to have a look over the top of the gate, then you know, it just gradual wear and tear, and it falls to pieces. It's only bamboo and eucalyptus, and you know, bamboo lasts all right, but we've got loads of eucalyptus, but the weather does affect it quite badly. We're certainly not going to use my sack, the expensive teak or anything like that. So that was done. Then they moved on to the other main access gate. So we've got two main access gates, access the two pasture areas. So we had to break one down, but it was showing its age anyway, to let Macro Man through, because it wasn't wide enough. After that one, they then tweaked the middle one, which dissects the two areas of pasture. So long term, I think we're just going to have one pasture area for the goats, and then the other side is going to be more fodder. But thinking about it, I don't think we're going to let the goats on it apart from in the dry season. We want to make sure absolutely everything is bone dry, so there's no parasites for them, and we'll just be letting them out for sort of like an hour or two per day for 2 weeks, let it rest for 2 weeks, kill off the parasites, and then they can go back out there again. So the other side is purely for growing stuff for them, but we have got a jungle section right at the back. If we can set up like a bamboo, like a picket style fence, just to walk them out there, then that's another option, but you know, that's another job in itself. Okay, after that, they've started on rebuilding. If you remember a chap called Pion, a guy who we tried to sponsor, get work permit for, because he was from Laos, went through all the rigmarole of trying to sort that out, and then he never turned up again. But he built the original, sort of like a little bit of a sala in between the crayfish pond and the walking catfish pond, which is the hyacinth bioexplosion pond. And some of you may well remember that the day after, we had a horrific storm here. It's still the worst storm that Toon and I have had here, and it just ripped it to pieces. and we've always had other more important, more pressing things to do, certainly with the goats, so that's always been put on the back burner. And I said to Ty, I'd like to finally get that back up, because it's a lovely place to sit and have our kebabs at night and look at the stars, and sometimes have a little fire out there. So yeah, they're doing that, and they're using all eucalyptus. And what's a really nice touch is they can still repurpose some of the old mysack. Say the old mysack. Toon's mum and dad used it originally in their first house around here, and then when they moved into the village, and they used all concrete posts as they do out here, and cinder blocks and cement, that sort of stuff. He then used it as his chicken and duck house framework, and Toon's mum wanted it all taken down a couple of years ago now, maybe 2.5 years ago, something like that. We nabbed it off her, give her a few shillings for that, and yeah, so the guys say it's still as my sack, it's bulletproof, it's donkey's years old, it's older than me. It's probably been cut down as long as me as well, but it's too hard for the termites. So thankfully we can use that, and that is a really nice touch that you know, the carpentry marks that are on there, you know, were made by Toon's dad. So you know, still got a little bit of the old guy here on the farm with us. So they're going to be doing that for another day, I imagine. Now, as far as materials go, all we've bought so far is 2 bags of nails, mediums and bigs. We've repurposed loads of stuff, like wire fence. Oh, I do lie. A reel of wire for tying things. And that's it. We already had the termite mix chemical to do the posts. Roof, I think we've got enough. Now, again, donkeys years ago, about 3 years ago or so, Pyong's house and Toon's cousin's house that was not too far away, that got destroyed in that same storm that damaged here, and their house was just totally totaled. And Toon's nephew Leigh, he went and took a lot of the stuff down before it got taken. He wasn't quite quick enough, someone had the windows out of it, but he saved the roof. So we've got the roof sheets from that. We're giving him a few shillings for that. So yeah, it's great that we've got the boys here per day, 400 baht a day. You guys on Patreon are footing that for us, thank you very much. And yeah, they're just, as always, they work their socks off. They're a joy to be around, and it's just the sort of lift energy wise that is brilliant for me and Toon, because it is hard going at the moment. The goats aren't allowed back out on pasture. They've had the 2 weeks out there, so we're sourcing all their food for them. Bar today, we let them out for about an hour at the front garden. But it's too hard work because there's too many things that we don't want them to eat there, so it's we have to be on our toes with the naughty sticks. So the only food that they're getting is what we're sourcing, and that's why I'm doing the jelly beans, guys. I've assumed this daily chore. I don't mind it, but Toon normally does it. I normally scrape out the poop from underneath and put it round the bamboo and elsewhere on the farm. But no, we're cutting. Normally Toon does a Lucina cut on her own, then I accompany her in the afternoon, do that session, and then it's 2 cuts of Napier grass as well. Again, I'm there for 1 cut, not the other, and I shred it, and then I go around pinning the bits that are fit for growing on. So I've been doing that round the lake, and yeah, it's good that we've not got to worry about other jobs that desperately needed doing while we're flat out doing the goats. Everything's growing, or most of the stuff's growing. We lost a few lines of Napier cuttings, but you know, it's all free anyway. I think we paid 500 baht for just continually cutting Napier up the road on a neighbouring farm. So it's only our time, and I know it's precious, But at least your heart doesn't sink too much when you get a free cutting that you popped in when it pops its clogs. And it was the line that I didn't repair, so it's my fault. The little old lady that we got in to help grow the cuttings with us didn't put them in deep enough, and I was supposed to go around and stick them all in, but I was like, we'll wing it. We'll just hope that they take. I think about 3 took out of about 200. So that'll learn me. Right then, look at the state of this. It could be worse. I was expecting worse because the herd has been having papayas every day. I give them two big ripe papayas sliced up. I've been throwing all the seed round the outside of the fishing lake. Hopefully a couple will take. But yeah, actually it's not too bad in here. We did kick them out early. It was a shot day today. Not shots of Lao Cow, the Thai whiskey. Shots of worm medicine. So there was a lot of screaming in here early hours this morning. So we had the food ready for them outside, and as soon as they'd had a shot, we kick them out. It looks like they're a little bit tipsy straight after a shot. So straight out the gate, straight down the little walkway, and then they start feeding the faces, and they forgive us then. They don't hold a grudge, not like the missus. Goat house is still flipping tip top. Apart from a couple of the gates need a bit of, well, we've done a couple of temporary fixes. That's Toon's ingenious new hinging system. They've had that gate off. Yeah, and that one, and this one, this was my attempt with Chris. I came to the farm stay with us. It's not gone well, Chris. Told you it wouldn't last, didn't I? Needed to do it properly, but no. He wanted to get on the beer, finish super quick, and shoddy workmanship, Toon said. Never mind. Unfortunately, no time for fishing whatsoever. Gutted. I have caught a couple of clonkers a few days ago, but then we had some heavy rain, and the fish shut up shop anyway. It was really hard. We had about 2 weeks. I wouldn't say I did blank once. I had a 2-hour session, didn't catch anything. But yeah, it was almost like you got to buy a bite. And then a wetter line the other day, and we had some common carp, everyone's favourite, giant striped catfish, a few of the obligatory what we call them, Java barbs, Esoc, and Toon lost a Marigal carp, so they were back on the feed. We also caught our first black shark minnow, which was tiny, but we've seen some round about a pound mark. So yeah, I was just surprised that you get the difference in growth rates with these fish. But yeah, they're beautiful fish. All speaking span. Leigh's a good boy, isn't he? Right, I don't know what video is going to be next. We were last week going to do another drain irrigation canal down and get and show you all the baby fish. We did it about 3 weeks ago, where we normally do it, so we didn't record it again. I'll be honest, it's a pain in the arse doing it. There's mud everywhere, as you know, and it's really hard going, although it is by far and away our favourite pastime on the farm. But we knew that we were going to be doing we thought we were going to be doing at the back part of the behind the lake at the back. We set up the Honda pump, got the anaconda out, went to start it, and the starter cable broke, or the cord broke. So we went and got another one, but we didn't have time to fit it. Later that night it rained, and the drainage ditch did its job and filled it with water again, whereas before it was just a few inches deep. That's why we were going to drain it down, because the birds were having easy pickings of everything in there. So it's not worth doing it now, because you just burn too much fuel getting the water down. It's quite a long canal, and yeah, the fish are all right. It'll give them a chance to grow a little bit bigger, so that by the time we do get around to potentially netting them again, then they stand a better chance. surviving in the lake. So that was a bit of a missed opportunity, unfortunately. We are going to be doing the raft race, guys. See, just think we give up and we don't do these things. We do follow through. As far as the date goes, we're in the lap of the gods. Well, not really the lap of the gods. Lap of Eddie Bright. Some of you know him. He's threatened to come and visit us in about 3 weeks. So we haven't told him yet, but he's going to video the race. So if he doesn't turn up, can you just moan at him instead of me? Please. The other video that we're going to be doing while he's here, he doesn't know he's doing that, by the way, but one video that he knows he'll be in is threatened to help us drain down the fence pond, which is home to a lot of our striped catfish and the makongs and the giant gourami. It's also home to a giant reticulated python, so that should be good. I'm a little bit uneasy going in there. Nothing to do with the python, because it's probably binned off now anyway. Once it ate everything, all the ducks and the geese. I'm just feeling a little bit uneasy because it'll mean sharing a pond with another guy in budgie smugglers, which will be a little bit weird, isn't it? A little bit uncomfortable, that. So we'll see. I might have to insist that he wears some long shorts or something. So yeah, no pressure, Eddie. 2 of our upcoming videos all hinges on you being here. So sort it out, mate, and dust down the tartar and get your backside here. He might be bringing French, Welsh Alan with him. So we could end up having a repeat international Porpeang Championship. Thailand versus England versus Wales versus the US and A. Probably be another easy win for Team England. I can't see it going any other way. It's like the stairway to heaven, that, isn't it? Well, it is when Bullseye feels a bit amorous with the old ladies. We're now getting more inquiries about farm stays, guys. We've got a few booked in now, mainly with the village house accommodation. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend putting a tent up or renting a tent off from us to stay on the farm in the rainy season. It's not just the rain, it's the high winds. So yeah, I need to get my backside in gear and do a proper update farm stay stroke homestay accommodation and prices, that sort of thing, on our website. So that will be done in the future. Make sure, if you want to email us, just make sure that you're using our up-to-date email address. Some of our very old videos, I've got my old or our old email address, which we can't get into anymore. So on our about page and in the details below, that's the only email that we use now. So if you don't use that one, we won't know. So we had a lovely chap and his wife and kid turn up a few weeks ago, and he was like, well, I just turned up, mate, because you were ignoring my emails for about 2 years. So that'll be the old email address then. So yeah, you can also message us through Facebook, but I find it a lot easier. I think I've said before, it's a lot easier for me doing it through emails. You know, just when I sit down at night, I can open the inbox and just reply almost straight away. Well, straight away for me is within a week ish. I'm gonna have a wander back, get a drink of cold water, and I can see the boys are making brilliant progress on our revamped Sala, or Sala rebuild. State of this, guys, the old yacht, it's basically just a lift net. That's what they call it in Thailand. And we've been trying to make some headway on the little silver bagger seal and the glassfish, the bazillions that are in the lake, and feed them to the red tails and snakehead and alligator guys back at the house. And when we finished last night, after putting the goats away, Toon was like, oh, it'll be all right here, won't it? I said, yeah, it probably will be. No. Obviously not. It's not the dog's been picking shrimp and fish out of it. It's Doris the vampire goat, isn't it? Have to have words with her. What a beautiful sight, eh? Not two men wearing skimpy outfits. I mean, it's just lovely. The love grows stronger, guys. The love grows stronger.